Let's talk about one of our opponents, though, Mr. Cream Cheese here. And for those that can't see it, I have a sign behind me that says it's not coming home, and I signed it Cream Cheese. So that's me putting my flag in the ground that England are not going to win the World Cup, though they feel like they should, since they got to the semifinals of the World Cup in 2018 and got to the final of the Euros in 2020, and now that's like their next step. It's not going to happen. But let's take a look back. Heath, I'll come to you first. The 2010 team that played us to a 1-1 draw had Emil Heskey starting up top, Aaron Lennon, Frank Lampard, Wayne Rooney, Ashley Cole, John Terry, Robert Green, Sean Wright-Phillips started that game, Steven Gerrard, Ledley King, Glenn Johnson. They're okay. When I start to think about these names, maybe the midfield stands out, right? Because it looks like you have Lampard and Gerrard, who I don't know if they played well together, but they're both obviously very decorated players. And then you have Rooney floating around underneath Emil Heskey. I mean, that's pretty formidable in terms of their attack. I wonder if any of these 2010 players, though, could fit on this 2022 team. Maybe Ashley Cole back instead of whoever they have. Rooney. Okay, sorry. Rooney, yes. Rooney's got to be in there.
Rooney's playing.
Maybe the midfield. Maybe one of Lampard.
John Terry's playing.
Yeah, over Stones.
John Terry's 100% playing.
Over Maguire. Probably over Maguire.
And Ashley Cole's walking into this team.
Okay.
He's playing over Luke Shaw.
So Terry over Maguire, Luke Shaw over, Ashley Cole over
Shaw or Chilwell, right, on the left side. And Ashley Cole's walking into that.
So right now, the bookies in England are saying that Mount, Rice, and Foden will start in midfield, and that Grealish, Kane, and Sterling will be the front three. I feel like Rooney's got to be in that front three somewhere, or in the middle. And then Gerrard or Lampard, would those guys get in over Mount and Rice? One of them, I think, would.
Yeah. For sure.
Gerrard. I was saying, I don't know. Lampard didn't always kill it for the national team.
No, but Gerrard is. Both of them.
Lampard's Lampard and Gerrard is Gerrard.
I know. I'm just trying to throw it out there to.
Yeah. But again, this is it's hard because you're taking the entirety, and this is going back to, peak Michael Bradley versus Tyler Adams. Like Tyler Adams got 5 years till he's peak, right? So we might see a better Tyler Adams than a Michael Bradley.
Good point.
Peak Michael Bradley. We're in hindsight of what that was. So we're taking the best moments and putting that against Tyler Adams, who's going through that sort of growth curve right now. And so it's hard to say where Mason Mount ends up in the grand scheme of things, or Phil Foden where he ends up in the grand scheme of things. But Lampard and Gerrard, in hindsight, because we're taking the sample that we want from that, they've got to be on the field in this current team.
And then we got Harry Kane starting no matter what. Like Heskey, who actually had a great assist to Gerrard in the goal against us. And that's a Heskey that's not the meme Heskey. That was still Heskey at a pretty decent level, Chuck. But Harry Kane's going to be your automatic starter. So who's on either side of him? If you have Rooney, I'm just kind of curious if we kind of mash up this team, because it's interesting. It's always tough to compare generations of players, but that's what we're doing today. It's a Friday fun day.
Yeah, I mean, if you had Kane, then Rooney and Foden at this point. I think Phil Foden is the top player out of Sterling, Saka, and Mount. I think Foden has kind of separated himself from the bunch, because Phil Foden is just, he's quality, and Pep Guardiola just continues to push him and help him develop. So I'd say Kane, Rooney, and Phil Foden would be the front three.
That's a unbelievable front three, by the way.
Yeah, because Heskey's not playing, Milner's not playing in that front three, and Aaron Lennon was the starting in 2010.
Right.
So yeah, then you wonder what Jude Bellingham will turn into. I mean, he's still on this like rapid rise, and I don't think he's even come close to his ceiling. And what a talent! So, Saka, Jude Bellingham. I think Sterling has already peaked. I think he's coming down, and they're already rumored that he's going to make a move to Chelsea, which could happen. So, yeah, I mean, it's they have a lot of talent, but I would say our talent, is also. We have a lot of depth, a lot of stronger players who are still on the rise. Again, these next 6 months are going to be crazy important for us. The health of Gio Reyna, what does Timothy Weah do? Because, he's been linked with Valencia, And maybe does he move up to the 9th spot? Jonathan David still at Lille, so.
But
Timothy
also that
Weah's not
growth
gonna
curve,
play.
Charlie. The growth, like our players are young enough that 6 months is a lifetime in their careers,
Yes.
right? We're not talking about just health. We're talking about development. 6 months is a double-digit percentage of these guys' professional careers. And so the growth curves of them could be absolutely massive versus, again, our previous teams where we're talking about players in their peak. It's like, can we stay healthy? Playing time or not, you kind of had your team. Whereas these guys, we've seen the rise of them go through these challenges. It's a pretty big deal these next few months.
So I think Serginho Dest stands the biggest opportunity to improve if he stays at Barca and he plays under Xavi, because I think just from a tactical standpoint and a decision-making standpoint, he's going to grow considerably playing at Barca. And that will really help the U.S. men's national team at the World Cup.
Yeah, 100%. I'm looking at, and speaking, go back to England very quickly. They played 4 games in that June window. They lost to Hungary 1-0. They drew with Germany 1-1, 0-0 with Italy, and then lost to Hungary 4-0. And I wonder, we're going to have special guests. The reason I bring up England again, because Jolyon Lescott, former England international, is going to be joining us next week as our special guest. Look forward to getting some insight from him. He's just been coaching the U21s with the 3 Lions, and he's going to have a lot of insights on what they're going to look like moving forward. We're also working on Daniel Sturridge to come on the show as well. He can, another resident number 9 that Charlie can have a counterpart. He's actually in Boston, Charlie. I should connect you guys because
yes.
I think he's just hanging out to make that happen. But do you think England has anything to be worried about? And Charlie, I'll come back to you, birthday boy. With only scoring 1 goal in their last 4 games, their 2 games in September are Italy away and Germany at home.
Mm-hmm.
And they still have some issues. And even though they have all this promise and they're dealing with always the expectations that their country expects them to bring it home and win the competition, they're not free from figuring out a way to not score. They're not scoring right now. So I'm kind of curious. Is that something they should be worried about, or it's just like whatever?
No, I don't think so. But come September, and they're still in the same spot, I would say yes. I think their success has a lot to do with their performances now. Long season, their success expectations are super high. I think maybe the concentration levels weren't there. Maybe they took their foot off the gas a little bit because they're feeling themselves. This is kind of a one of those moments that gets everybody to kind of say, okay, let's get back to what we're doing to put ourselves in a good position to win a World Cup, because that's ultimately what this group is trying to do. So they have the quality to do it. So the World Cup is all about chances and making the most of it. So I think I would not put too much stock into England's recent performances. If anything, it's going to allow them to refocus and get in the right mind frame for a World Cup.
Yeah, they got Iran first. That game is going to be on November 21st, and that'll kick off at 8 a.m. Pacific, Eastern time. So we're all going to be pretty eager to see how they do in their first game, and I'm sure their whole country will be feeling the same. Because as we've discussed already, winning that first game is of the utmost importance. It definitely increases your odds of getting through.